Here we are in the upstairs hallway. This is the maple hardwood floor that I put in, and I had to stop because you can't put the actual wood in the bathroom. But I found some flooring at Home Depot, and it's called Ultra, and it's supposed to be completely waterproof, and they had the same maple finish in it, so I'm preparing to install it. But before I can get started, I've got to do a couple of things. One, take off the door. Two, take out the toilet. Three, take out all of the baseboard moldings. And four, clean the floor before I start laying it down. So I'll be getting started here in just a few minutes. And I won't bother you with all of those little details, but I'm really curious as to how well this will install. It's supposed to be simple click flooring that requires no gluing or anything else. So we'll see in a few minutes. As you can see, I've got a tight work area. So I'll do this in sections. I just need a few rows to get past the toilet, and then I can put it back in place and do the rest of the room. But I've got all the molding off, and now I'm going to start working with the Allure Ultra. I'm well into the project now. I put a few pieces of the flooring in. My biggest concern was getting the toilet worked in as quickly as I could. So I pulled it out, cut this material to go right around it, and then put it back in so that anyone can use it. My biggest problem in here, other than cutting around the drain for the toilet, was getting all the baseboard moldings off. These are rubber moldings. In fact, the one under the cabinets I couldn't get off. I just couldn't get, they're glued on. I couldn't get under there, so I just cut them off at the bottom, and I'll just apply the new right on top of the old. It has to be trimmed down anyway. But I suppose you want the answer to the question. And the answer is yes. As far as I'm concerned, I've never used this stuff before, but it works just as described. I can cut it and have been cutting it with a blade, and it works a lot like working with sheetrock. I score it on the top, but I make sure that it's a good deep score, and I bend it over, and then instead of snapping it, I cut it from the other side with the blade. And I've also used my favorite tool, which is an oscillating saw, and that's what I use to use the oscillating saw to cut the toilet drain out. So this material is roughly 1/4 inch thick. I think I'm going to like it in here. I need 11 3/4 inch piece right there. I'll show you how the material cut. Now I've got this marked at where I want it. Just going to square this up here. Take my blade, and I always put pressure on to make sure my square or my straight edge doesn't shift or move. But I always double check too. So I cut into it a couple of times to make sure. Then I make sure I'm cutting deep right into the corner there, onto the edge. And then I should be able to, oh, and all of these, they have an arrow on the back. And it definitely points you into the direction that it goes. I'm right about here. So all I'm going to do is fold it like that. And just like with sheetrock, I just take my blade on the inside, and there it goes. So that cut it. Now, to mount this, what I have to do is take it and place it right in like that, so that this one is in, and then I work it down into the corner, right to there. Oh. Well, on this one it's a little long, but I've got nothing but air. You're supposed to give 1/8 of an inch space. Like I've got spacers on the bathtub, So it's back. So this, it's not joining quite right here, but what I found is if I lift up on this one and press it in, it'll snap in. There. There we go. Thing of beauty. You gotta make sure you got no junk under here. Make sure it's clean. Yeah, so that's pretty simple and straightforward. So this, since all of them work from this, have the arrow going there, this next piece will actually fit right here. Well, maybe not. This is too short of a space. Maybe I'll cut a longer piece to go in here. Because my distance, these things come 47.5 long and my space is 41.5, 41.25 is what I need. So what I can do is cut this one. I can cut this one to fit that spot. This Allure is great stuff. I like it so far. And water just beads up on it, so yeah, I think it'll be a great addition to what was here before. And then I've got the new moldings to go on here, and they just glue on. And this is like a one-day job, not even. Anyway.